Hello. Good evening, everybody. My name is John Perry. I'm here to do the announcements tonight for tonight's service. I guess we're starting them early. We're starting them on the front side. Rabbi Axelrod is looking for food pantry donations. Please bring non-perishable food to CNT to be distributed to people in need at the temple. If you're interested in joining a young adult support group after experiencing loss in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, contact Cantor Hudgens. CNT is offering 6 adult education courses this fall. The first session starts on Tuesday, July 11th. To register, go to our website and calendar. CNT's film Shavura will see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 on Wednesday, July 12th at Regal Green Valley Ranch at 6 p.m. Tickets cost $15. To register, go to our website or calendar. Rabbi Axelrod and Green Valley Presbyterian Church's Reverend Adrian Dahl will share their pulpits on Friday, July 14th at 7 p.m. at CNT, and on Sunday, July 16th at 9 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. at Green Valley Presbyterian Church at 1798 Wigwam Parkway. We hope to see CNT congregants will attend both Friday night services here and Sunday services at the church. CNT's next senior program luncheon takes place Monday, July 24th at noon. Our Day at the Beach karaoke event will feature burgers, fries, and cool treats for the hot weather. To register, go to our website or calendar. That sounds like fun. Join CNT's adult choir Sheer Harmony. Rehearsals will take place Wednesdays at 6:45 through September. Go to our website or calendar to sign up. CNT is also in need of wind, horn, and string musicians to join the 24th season of the Shabbatones. Auditions will be held in late July. Contact Cantor Hutchins. And then vendors are needed for Sisterhood's Hanukkah and Holiday Bazaar on November 5th. If you'd like to display and sell your crafts, jewelry, and giftware, please email the Sisterhood. And then finally, we've got CNT Sisterhood's Markel Fine and Family Gift Shop is open Friday for 45 minutes before services or by appointment. At the gift shop, you can buy Rabbi Axelrod's new book, Love in the Time of Corona. Proceeds go to Congregation There to Me. Thank you and good Shabbos.
I think it's up here so that we can go like this. Thank you, John.
Thank you to John Perry for our announcements. Page 131. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along, all the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz. Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash. I will sing unto God a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Sabbatical did not restart Rabbi's just taking a couple days away, so you have me again. It's lovely to see all of you. I saw some of you last week, and this is the season of some time away for recharging for the clergy, so you'll see me, and then you'll see him, and then you'll see me, and then we'll be together again very soon. We're grateful that you're all here to celebrate with us and that you braved the heat to come into the sanctuary and join in Shabbat together. And we are grateful for the people who are taking part in our service tonight. We have John Henderson on guitar and Eddie Birch on piano. And we have our Bima sitters. We have Dell and we have Pam, and we're going to hear from Pam in just a little bit with her Devar Torah. So tonight is about bringing in the sanctity of Shabbat. And sometimes when the week gets really chaotic, or there's just a lot on your mind, or you've experienced something that's a little difficult, it's hard to center yourself and let Shabbat in. But we all need it. For whatever reason, we all need it. And it was put in place for us by God, and so we should take advantage of it. So to center ourselves a little bit, let's start with just a big, deep breath and just a moment of quiet so that we can breathe in the goodness of Shabbat and let all the bad stuff out from the week. Let's take a little deep breath. Page 124. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. And with that, we turn back to page 120, 121. We call forward Susan and Shelby to light the Shabbat candles this evening. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So now that we've welcomed in the light of Shabbat, we welcome in the presence of Shabbat. Page 138, we join in Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 2, and 9. Lecha Dodi, likrot kala, penei Shabbat, nekabla. Lecha Dodi, likrot kala, penei Shabbat, nekabla. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. We rise to greet the Shabbat bride. Verse 9. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. We remain standing, page 146 for our Baruch Hu prayer. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai, yai lai lai lai. Page 149 in the middle. We read together. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hamari v'aravim. Page 151. And as I am reading this paragraph, if you are in our religious school, and you could come on up for Shema and Ve'ahavta to help us lead, As you taught Torah to those whose name I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me? Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated. We continue with Ve'ahavta on page 154.
Hello, hello. Yafta et Adonai Elohecha v'shayim v'holdeka ayu havarim ele shanoim adoah and yolion Deca, you on Mrs. Hook, my deca, and she's Deca, and she's you, and she's to die. It's a machine, me, and Varun, and Sharon, and
All right, next time. Page 157. We read responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Umalchuto beratzon kivelu alehem, Moshe u'Miriam u'bnei Yisrael echanu shira, b'simcha rabba ve'amru chulam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi chamocha Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim, Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim, Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. We may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. We turn to page 160 for our Hashkivenu prayer, our prayer that reminds us that we will have the protection of God as we lie down tonight to go to sleep. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 So as I look out at this congregation, I'm so honored to have spoken to some of you this week, or I've seen that there are big things happening in your life, maybe big changes, transitions. That's kind of something that happens a lot during the summer, where we start to think about what the next year will hold. And for some of us, we're doing things that we never thought we would do. Or maybe we're experiencing something that's quite difficult, and we are leaning on God to help us get through this time. When we approach the Amidah prayers, our standing prayers, we think, why are we standing again in front of the ark to say these prayers that we've learned by rote for all these years, for some of us newer than that? Why say all of these things over and over again? What's the point? And I used to struggle with this question myself, especially when it came to the Amidah. And then I realized that we can't petition God for anything that we need until we show gratitude for what we already have. And the Amidah serves as a marker for that, to say, thank you for giving us the people who came before us. Thank you for giving us strength. Thank you for giving us holiness, and so on and so forth, with the different themes that the Amidah provides for us. And this Siddur gives us the opportunity to read those words in Hebrew or in English, in different interpretations at that, or just to look within ourselves. So when we rise now for our Amidah prayers, This is your opportunity to prepare yourself for what's to come, to ask God for what you need, but also to show gratitude for what you have and the blessings that you're given in this life. So we rise now on page 164 for our Amidah prayers. Pray as if everything depended on God. Act as if everything depended on you. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula livnei v'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava. Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Yaakov, Atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha Baal Givurot, Umido Melach, Melech Mimit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We turn back to page 165. In an envelope marked personal, God addressed me a letter. In an envelope marked personal, I have given my answer. I encourage you to continue your prayers from here on the left side of the page, picking the prayers that call you, seem meaningful to you, or the words within your heart, or the words on the right side of the page. But try to read through them wherever they are and find something that will bring you to a place of holiness on this Shabbat. And when you have completed your prayers on page 181, please be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. And so we turn to our healing prayer on page 371, our Misha Berach prayer. There are many people in our midst that are in the bed of illness and in need of prayers. We turn to our live stream and we ask that if you are watching and you would like to submit names of those in need of healing prayers, please do so at this time on both YouTube and on Facebook. Submitted to our office, Sandy Block, Marlene Acosta, Marty Chiller, Ed Garlick, Sheila Bot-Naomi, Lori Fletcher. If there are names of people that you would like to say at this time, please rise and say their names. Ray Singer, Kim Rodriguez, Vincent Rodriguez. Page 371. If you feel comfortable, you can put your arm around the person next to you so we can all support each other in these prayers of healing for those who you've named and those who have no one to say Misha Berach for them. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Kim Botwin, Donna Zale. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Please be seated. And now I'd like to invite forward Pam Henderson for our Devar Torah about Zelophehad's daughters.
Hello? I used to just use my readers. They don't cut it anymore. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and thank you again, as Cantor said, for being with us this evening to bring in this Shabbat for us. I'm going to go out on a limb here for a minute and make a statement that might ruffle a few feathers, but it's something that I think is true. I think that for many modern Jews, especially modern Reform Jews, some of the laws in Torah feel outdated and irrelevant to our daily lives. I'm not talking about the big laws like thou shalt not murder. But when it comes to some of the laws in Leviticus and Numbers, most of which concern the use of the Mishkan and the structure of the Israelite camp, it feels particularly true to me. But occasionally, there's a gem, a passage in Torah that speaks directly to me, a modern 21st century Reform Jewish woman. And this week's Parsha is one of those gems. It's one of those ancient stories that reaches out across the millennia as if to say, yes, I am still your Torah, and yes, I am still relevant. Pinchas is the name of one of the Israelite priests. And this Parsha from chapter 27 of the book of Numbers contains not one but two brief stories that, when taken together, represent much of what is still valued in our modern world. We begin with Zelophehad, a man who can trace his family genealogy 500 years back to Joseph himself. But the story is not about him. Our narrative begins shortly after his death, and the story focuses on his 5 daughters. In a break with much of biblical tradition, they are identified by name: Machla, Noah, Hogla, Milcah, and Tirzah. And those of you who have studied some of our biblical women's courses with me know how rare indeed this is, that these young women are named. The sisters make themselves known to the entire Israelite community following a census. As the people approach Eretz Israel, Moses has asked each tribe to account for its number of households in order to fairly distribute land to each tribe. To do that, he has asked each man to step forward and be counted. The problem, as the daughters of Zelophehad see it, is that because none of them is married, their family will not be counted in the census. According to the existing law of inheritance, a man's property was to be transferred to his sons, or if he had no son, to his son-in-law. As it stood, the law dictated that these 5 young women, all of whom were unmarried, would inherit nothing. None of their father's possessions, and no right to land in Canaan. These young women could have accepted that policy. In fact, everyone had accepted it since it had been handed down at Sinai 4 decades earlier. But they didn't. Instead, they approached Moses and the priests in the courtyard of the Mishkan and publicly stated their case. Our father died in the wilderness, and he has left no son. Let not his name be lost to his tribe just because he had no sons. Give us a holding among our father's kinsmen. Moses could have brushed them aside. After all, they were only women, and unmarried women at that. But he didn't. He considered their claim. Surely, Moses thought, a man's wealth should not be taken from his family just because he has no sons. Should it? Unsure about how to rule on this matter, Moses took the question to the chairman of the board. The divine reply was clear and groundbreaking. The plea of Zelophehad's daughter is just, God said. You should give them a share of hereditary holding. You should give them a hereditary holding among their father's kinsmen. Transfer their father's share to them. Furthermore, God continued, speak to the Israelite people as follows. If a householder dies without leaving a son, you shall transfer his property to his daughter. Hold that in one hand for a moment. I want to tell you the second story that is in this parsha. This story concerns a young man named Joshua, who has been selected to be Moses' successor. Approaching 120 years of age, Moses has spent a long time considering who the next leader of the Israelites should be. He needed someone who could keep these people in line, recalling how, when he left them alone for a mere 40 days, they forgot all that they had learned about God and turned instead to the golden calf, which they had crafted with their own hands. Moses knew that the man selected to succeed him must have a set of unique skills. He must be worthy of the people's respect. He must be a man of unquestioning faith. And he must be a fierce warrior. After all, taking the promised land from the Canaanites was not going to be a walk in the park. Joshua is chosen by God himself, who says to Moses, take Joshua, son of Nun, a man in whom is the spirit of leadership, and place your hands on him. Joshua received his smicha in the same fashion that our modern rabbis do today, by bowing before his predecessor and receiving the blessing. And just as our modern rabbis learned from those who went before them, Joshua too has learned. He has spent his entire life in the desert with Moses as his mentor, and he has paid close attention to every decision Moses has made. The most recent important decision that Joshua heard from Moses was the one concerning the daughters of Zelophehad and the laws of inheritance. And what did Joshua learn from that ruling? Many things. Joshua learned first that a leader must listen to the concerns of his people, all of his people. If a legitimate concern was brought to his attention, it didn't matter who brought it. He needed to hear it. Second, Joshua learned that a leader, even a leader like Moses, sometimes needs to ask for advice. In this case, as in many others recounted in Torah, Moses turned to God for guidance, a habit that Joshua would adopt as the new leader of the Israelites. And third, Joshua learned that laws, even Torah laws, sometimes needed to change in order to meet the changing needs of the community. Yes, even laws etched in stone might need to be modified, an understanding that Joshua would hand down to the elders, the judges, the prophets, the Sanhedrin, and ultimately to our modern rabbis. This tradition would later become a cornerstone of American law. Our constitutional amendments have been revised and continue to be revised numerous times over the past 247 years. Yes, sometimes we read Torah and we ask ourselves, how are these ancient stories meaningful in our modern world? Parsha Pinchas answers that question. Like Zelophehad's daughters, we must speak up when we see injustice. Like Moses, we must be able to ask for assistance when faced with a difficult decision. Like Joshua, we must be guided by the wisdom of those who have come before us. And like God, we must be willing to revise policies that do not fairly meet the needs of everyone in our community. I can't think of any lessons more relevant to our modern world. Shabbat Shalom.
We begin to conclude our service on page 586. Please rise for Aleinu. It's up to us to change the world. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kecho hamonam. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר בחיי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We say Kaddish for those who have recently left us in our community, or family and friends of our community: Harvey Godarov, Harriet Matthews, Charles Cooper, Deborah Carlin, Ernie DeGilio, Dick Hyman, Doris Munich. And we say Kaddish Yortzites for Saul Bosick, Joe Cuevas, Robert Frankel, Jason Jean Caspro, Joe Jean Caspro, William Goldberg, Illis Jonas, Joseph Kahn, Meyer Kinsler, Irving Kirschenbaum, Jack Kotlow, Jacob Ladder, Julius Lerner, Norman Lieberman, Carl Lunenfeld, Erwin Molaski, Ralph Oren, Laura Paper, Roberta Price, Ron Richardson, Leslie Ritchie, Adolph Roth, Sam Sandberg, Malka Santer, Anita Cerno, Sonia Smaller, Earl Sorum, Leonard Spector, Marion Sussler, Gerald Toffel, Larry Wolf. I look out to all of you. If there are names I did not mention, people that you are saying Kaddish for tonight, please say their names at this time. Marty Reingold, Ann Morgan, Gilly Chen, Joel Berg, Martin Koffner, Sandy Berman, David Villarreal. We turn to page 598. We say Kaddish for all those mentioned and all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedachol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala ubizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach leolam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world, to which we say amen. Please be seated. So I'd like to invite up for Kiddush and Motzi anyone who's a new member of CNT or plans to be a new member of CNT this summer. I also would like to invite up the Perry family as a thank you for doing the announcements, and anyone from our religious school who wants to join us for Kiddush and Motzi. And I'd like to say thank you again to Eddie Birch, to John Henderson, to Pam Henderson, to Del Arshamis, and to Lee and Roberta who are on staff tonight. And thank you to all of you for joining us for Shabbat. Another plug for Rabbi and Reverend Dahl. Next week on Friday night, they will be having a great conversation. We hope that you attend at 7 p.m. for that. There's still room in the choir if you would like to join us for the high holidays up in the choir loft. So just let me know if you do. There's also that need in the Shabbatones for those specific instruments. So please let me know about that as well. And there was one other thing I was going to tell you, but I'm going to save it for later. So we'll get to the Kiddush and Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei ha'afin. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi b'chem min haaretz. Amen. So I see some faces I haven't seen in a long time, some faces I haven't seen before. I didn't get a chance to say hello to everybody before the service. I'm hoping that I'll get to say hello to some of you after the service, but if you see, I'm going to challenge everybody to say hello and meet someone you don't know, okay? At least one person. And if you know everybody here, then say hello to somebody you haven't seen in a long time. Make sure that we show our audacious hospitality. We're so glad to see all of you. We close on page 626, I believe it is, with Ein Keloheinu. And we will go out into our lobby for our oneg.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kamoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Chadonenu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kamoshienu, No Del Eloheinu, No Del Adonenu, No Del Malkeinu, No Del Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu was a cue. Follow me out here. Shabbat shalom, everybody.